This is a long-term review of the Leatherman ARK. I've been carrying this multi-tool for at least 6 months, and today I'm going to tell you how it's worked and how it's compared with other multi-tools that I've used in the past. Now, I have used just about everything. I've used Leatherman's all the way back since they made the original one. I still have the original Leatherman multi-tool that I got probably back in the 1980s or early 1980s sometime. I don't remember exactly when, and I don't remember the exact date that Leatherman released their first tool. But I've been carrying multi-tools ever since then. I've carried the Gerbers, I've carried the SOGs, I've carried the Swiss tools, and the best of the bunch, I've always come back to Leatherman as my preferred multi-tool. Now, the Swiss tools were excellent, but what they lacked a few of the innovations that Leatherman came out with. I think Leatherman had a better lock. Leatherman had a little bit better tool selection, especially since they played around with removable bits and being able to have a bit kit rather than Swiss tool had this big, bulky, add-on quarter-inch accessory. Leatherman's flat bits have been an industry standard. They've been a game changer in allowing you to carry extra bits when you need them. I've carried, the Wave, the Surge, and several of their other tools that you have to open up to gain access to the tools. This has been a game changer, having your main tools all on the outside. There's a lot of times when I'm building something, or I'm holding something, or I'm on a ladder, and I need to get a tool. Say I need to get a large driver. I can even do it left-handed. I'm right-handed, and it's that easy to get that tool out even with my left hand, do what I have to, and then put it away. So that is a really important feature to me. And the lock on this is excellent. Now, I had a Wave, but I also had a Charge, which was a titanium tool. And that one, they put an S30V blade on it. The blade on this, as you can see, is Magna Cut. This is even a step above. This holds an edge longer, and they've really got the blade shape down on these. Same blade shape as on the P2 and the P4. Just an awesome. It's got that little bit of like a Warren Cliff style blade with a little bit of belly. So it has the best of both. It is the ideal shape for a knife blade that is used as a tool. And again, very easy one hand. And this one has a thumb stud on it. Makes deployment super easy. Now, they have made a couple of changes over the original P series. This one is a P2, so this is a little thinner. It only has 2 outside tools full length instead of 4 full length outside tools. But the format is exactly the same. And if we get the pliers out, the pliers heads are exactly the same. Now, I took the pocket clip off this one. It did come with one because I carry this in the belt sheath. So very nice tool. So what are the improvements? Well, first off, on this side, they give you a better awl. The awl on the previous P series had a hole in it, which left it a little bit fragile. They also give you this micro bit driver, which has straight slot and a Phillips on it, which is perfect for eyeglasses. And me being an IT guy, it's great for some other things that I run across on a regular basis. I also do all the sound and lighting at a college, so I'm constantly having to tighten up screws in some of the sound equipment, especially the microphones, where you plug the XLR cables on and off. It loosens up the jack on the back of the microphone, and it takes a very small bit like this to tighten those, and this is perfect for it. Then you get the heavy straight slot, and they remove the package cutter. On the previous P series, they sharpened one side of it in the corner, and they left it as a package opener, which kind of messed it up as a screwdriver and pry bar, light pry bar. So you still have bottle opener, and this part's necessary because these are held closed by a magnet, and it actually hits on this surface. And that's how they stay closed. So, nice set of tools on this side. All very good. On the other side, this is where I made some changes. You can see that's not a normal flat bit driver. You can buy long replacement drivers, extensions, and they're about, like I said, they're about this big. What it is, I cut it down and then did a hollow grind on the end and then thinned it down to make a medium straight slot screwdriver. So I have a medium regular and I have the standard Phillips. Now, the problem with doing this tool had a piece of sheet metal in it. It was right in here. You can see that little gap, and it ran down here, and it was an L shape, and it came across in front of where the standard size Leatherman bit would go. So when this bit driver is closed, you had something here to block it so that there's no way that that bit could ever fall out. That means you wouldn't be able to put a longer bit in like this and close the tool. So what I did is I removed that. You see right down in there in that gap, you see the gold? I found 2 phosphor bronze washers that were the exact same size as that piece of steel that ran down and then had the little L shape on it here. So I replaced it with the phosphor bronze washers to keep the overall tool thickness exactly the same, so everything would work properly. But now I can carry a long bit inside the tool. See, now this tool is perfect. I run into a lot of situations where a screw head is slightly recessed and the stock Leatherman bits are too short because this will hit the housing before the end of the bit will fully engage on the screw head. So this has been a game changer, having this slightly longer Phillips and straight slot. So I think that is a necessary modification. Another modification to make to this knife is on the scissors. What you do is you thin out the ends of the scissors. Can you see how thin that gets in here? Might be hard to see in the camera, but thinning that out lets you cut flush to a surface, and I'll get little pieces of skin that pull up on my fingers and I can get right in there and trim it right off perfectly flush, or a lot of things when you're trimming on the surface. So I think this is a very good mod to make to your scissors. Thin the ends out a little bit. Then the other mod to do on here is with the can opener. What I did is I copied a Victorinox Swiss Army knife. And as you can see, you now have that small straight slot. And this will also take Phillips. For example, here's a very small screw with a Phillips head. And this fits in there and works perfectly. So this works just like a Victorinox can opener, and is an excellent modification to make to this knife. The other thing to do is sharpen the other end. So now you have a sharp edge here, and that really aids in its ability to puncture and cut cans. So those two modifications make the can opener on your Leatherman much more usable. So with these modifications, I now have a micro straight slot and Phillips, a small straight slot and Phillips, a standard Phillips and straight slot, and then a large straight slot / light duty pry bar. So now this has a really good complement of tools, especially with that extension on here and having the longer built-in bit. This is now a tool that I can use, and I can say this truly has everything on it that I need on a daily basis. Stock, I ran into a few situations where there were screws that I didn't have the right size bit to fit. Now if it's a Phillips or a straight slot, I can get it out and work on it with this tool. And if I am going to be working on other things, I'll carry a bit kit and I'll carry the bits that I need with me. So this has been the ideal multi-tool. It does everything I need in a fairly compact, lightweight package. The other thing that's really good about this micro bit driver, again, I'm trying to do this left-handed, is this is also excellent for electronics. A lot of electronics have a little hole that you can stick something thin in to reset them. And this has been a great tool for that. So everything on here I find very useful. Couple modifications to it. Transform this knife and make it the best multi-tool I have ever carried, and the only one that I want to carry. Now, the other tools that are on here. You get a full-size file, diamond file on this side, standard file here, and then you get the ridges on the edge, so you can use this as a hacksaw in the pinch. Excellent. I use this mostly for maintaining nails, believe it or not, and you can also touch up other knives with this. Then you also have a saw, which Leatherman saws are incredible. These things cut great, and I don't use this every day, of course. I'll use it maybe once every 2 or 3 weeks, and when I do need it, I'm glad that I had it. I needed it just last week to hang a banner up in an auditorium. I hung it off of a 2x4, and I had to cut that 2x4 a little bit shorter. So this was very valuable to have. Saved me a trip going back to the office and getting a saw. So, all things considered, this has been the best multi-tool I have ever carried. It has the right tool set. It has all the right features. It's heavy duty. It even has good wire cutters, and they're removable. I know when this tool first came out, there were a few situations where people were cracking these wire cutters. I got mine just a little bit later. They obviously fixed the problem. I know they had changed companies on who is providing these replaceable wire cutters. They were probably hardened a little bit too hard, and when you cut something, they would crack. I've never had that issue with this, so I'm sure that problem is solved. And if you've had that issue, I'm sure if you contact Leatherman, they would send you out a new replacement pair of cutters. But this has been the best tool I've ever had. Most features, heavy duty enough without being overly heavy. For example, like the Surge is a little bit heavy for a daily carry. This is perfect. This is the perfect compromise between a light duty and a heavy duty multi-tool. It gets all the jobs done, saves a lot of time and a lot of trips back for more tools, all in a nice package, and it's even a good looking package too. I highly recommend the Leatherman ARK, especially if you do these few modifications to it like I have. It transforms the tool, and in my opinion, there's nothing else on the market right now, or that has been on the market in the past, that can touch it.